The sun was settling softly over the quiet suburban streets, bathing the manicured lawns and parked cars in that kind of golden light that makes everything look like a postcard peaceful, almost too peaceful for what was really going on underneath. Vanessa was out on her porch, watering lavender she'd planted months ago. The scent mingled with the warm air, and she moved with this calm grace, like she belonged exactly where she was steady, deliberate, at ease in her own skin. You could see it in her eyes, too, deep and rich with stories nobody ever got to hear. Vanessa, in her late 30s, had changed a lot over the last year. Not because she tried, but because life forced her to. She was that kind of woman who didn't need to say much to fill a room. Her presence was enough. But it hadn't always been that way. 12 months earlier, her husband, Zurich, sat across from her at their kitchen table and dropped the bomb. He'd fallen for someone else. Someone younger, someone exciting, a 24-year-old influencer named Mia, famous for her perfect smile and champagne brunch posts. Vanessa didn't yell, didn't cry. She just looked at him long and hard and said, "If you're sure, then go." And he did. Zurich moved just a few miles away into a sleek townhouse with all the trappings of a new life: gray walls, a rooftop hot tub, and Mia's social media posts lighting up his feed. He had a different car, tighter clothes, a smile that felt forced. In his head, Vanessa was stuck in the past, alone in their old house, clutching memories like a lifeline, maybe crying herself to sleep over what he'd left behind. But he had no idea. Not once did he ask what she'd been doing the last 12 months. She rebuilt herself, piece by piece. Morning yoga at sunrise, a solo trip to Morocco, throwing herself into launching a consulting business that was actually thriving. Corporate clients who appreciated her clarity and vision, a community built from unexpected places: book clubs, gardening groups, even quiet walks with strangers who became friends. Vanessa had done the hard work of healing, but Zurich still saw her as broken, waiting. That morning, Zurich drove past her house and saw her in the yard, the sun catching her profile like a painting. Something tightened in his chest, a flicker of something he hadn't expected. He quickly turned away, hoping she didn't see him. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't care. Later, sitting in a trendy cafe with Mia, scrolling through his phone, Zurich's mind drifted back to that moment. Mia, glowing under her ring light, asked if the pink lip gloss looked better than coral. He blinked and said, "They look the same." She rolled her eyes and went back to her followers, while Vanessa curled up at home with jazz playing softly in the background, protecting her peace like a sacred thing. A message from a friend confirmed a dinner reservation for next week's simple plans, but a sign she was moving forward. Vanessa still had scars, of course. Quiet nights, when loneliness crept in, moments when the silence in the house was almost too loud. But she didn't fear it anymore. She faced it head-on, let it roll over her like a storm passing over a calm sea. As the sun dipped lower, Vanessa made herself some tea and glanced out the kitchen window. A silver car was parked across the street. She recognized it immediately. She didn't flinch, didn't move, just smiled softly and let him watch. That summer air had this softness to it, a kind of forgiveness in the warmth even for old memories. Vanessa started showing up around town in a way that caught people's attention, not because she was loud or flashy, but because she radiated something else: a quiet strength, a glow that came from having found herself. She still went to the same farmer's market, still sipped jasmine tea at the corner cafe, still dropped off donations at the local women's center. But now, when she walked, it was with ease, with a laugh that lingered, with posture that told a story of peace. And that sleek black SUV parked downtown, that wasn't the car she used to drive. Zurich noticed it the first time he saw her stepping out, wearing a cream blouse and flowing pants that moved like silk. Minimal makeup, gold hoops, and confidence that hit him like a punch in the gut. She didn't see him, or if she did, she didn't show it. That was the moment he felt it, not jealousy, not regret, something more unsettling. Disruption. A few days later, Zurich met an old friend who mentioned Vanessa's recent travels: Spain or Greece, and how she was glowing. Zurich laughed it off, but inside it felt sour. At home, Mia was still the bright, youthful influencer, but Zurich found himself tuning out, staring blankly while she ranted about algorithms or unboxed products. One night, Mia called him out. "You're weird lately. Is it work or her?" Zira tried to brush it off, but she got sharper, accusing him of still thinking about Vanessa, even following her sister on social media. Zirik's smile faded under the weight of truth. Mia was a stranger he barely knew now, all lights and filters that couldn't hide the hollowness growing inside him. The next day, Zirik saw Vanessa again downtown at a boutique pop-up event, effortlessly chic in an olive jumpsuit, natural hair puff high, sunglasses on her head. But what caught his eye was the ring on her left hand, delicate, gold bold. Not a fashion statement. He passed slowly, their eyes met briefly. Her smile was soft, unbothered, no mockery, no coldness, just life going on without him. That night, Mia livestreamed from their apartment while Zirik sat on the edge of the bed, mind elsewhere back to that porch with lavender and soft jazz. The next day, the scene shifted to a garden party, sunlight filtering through rose-covered trellises, jazz melodies floating in the air, laughter in little clusters. Zirik arrived with Mia, her coral dress hugging her figure, phone in hand, already snapping selfies. His eyes scanned the crowd and then froze there. Near a hydrangea bush was Vanessa, radiant in gold, her puff higher and sleek, gold earrings catching the afternoon light, her laugh effortless. But it wasn't just her. Standing beside her was a man tall, broad-shouldered, deep brown skin, clean-shaven head, navy suit without a tie, hand resting gently on Vanessa's back. They moved with a rhythm, like they belonged together. Zirik's smile was tight, forced. Vanessa's eyes caught his for a second, polite, calm, nothing more. He approached, Mia trailing behind, chatting about a brand deal. "Vanessa," he said, voice a little too loud. "It's been a while." She nodded coolly. "Eric, Mia, good to see you both." Before he could say more, the man beside her introduced himself. "I'm Darius," he said, hand firm but not crushing. "And you must be the influencer. Vanessa mentioned your skincare content, very consistent." Mia lit up at the compliment, clearly unsure how to take the unexpected nod from Vanessa. "So, you two are?" Zirik asked, voice cracking slightly. Vanessa glanced at Darius and smiled softly. "Married." The word hit him like a thunderclap. "Recent," Zirik stammered. "Not really," Darius replied smoothly. "We just kept it private." Zirik forced a laugh. Mia munched on a canopy, oblivious to the tension. Darius talked about a recent summit in Tokyo where he spoke on sustainable tech, working with underserved communities. Zirik's world shrank in that moment. This wasn't just anyone. This was a man with purpose, with presence, someone who had built something real. Vanessa, the woman he left behind, was shaping a future he'd never imagined. As Darius excused himself, Vanessa turned to Zirik, her voice steady. "You look well." He stared. "You seem happy." "I am," she said simply, slipping her hand into Darius's. Zirik stood there, champagne glass shaking slightly as jazz played on, the woman he left behind thriving in ways he never believed possible. The garden party drifted toward evening, the lights softening, laughter mellowing, candles flickering on tables. Vanessa and Darius sat at the center of a lively conversation, perfectly in sync, perfectly at home. Zirik hovered near a hedge, swirling the last of his champagne, feeling the unraveling inside him. He had expected bitterness, tears, regret, but Vanessa was untouchable now, and he was an outsider looking in. Two guests nearby whispered about Darius, a man who would soon give a keynote at the UN, spoke 5 languages, consulted for governments. Zirik's heart pounded as he overheard, stunned into silence. He sank onto a bench, throat dry, eyes unfocused. Mia crouched beside him, voice sharp. "Is this about her?" "Eric, seriously?" He looked at her, really looked. And for the first time, she felt like a stranger. All the glitz, all the noise couldn't mask the emptiness he now saw. He glanced back toward Vanessa. No filters, no performance. Just life. The garden quieted, the sun dipping lower, the air cooler. Zirik sat alone, surrounded by shadows and silence. Then footsteps approached. Vanessa stood before him, framed by golden light filtering through leaves, calm, composed, chin lifted just enough. No biternis, no anger. Just a woman who had done the work of letting go. He straightened, trying to look stronger than he felt. She didn't sit, didn't scold, didn't offer apologies. She simply said, with a soft smile, "Sometimes what feels like rejection is just redirection." The words hung between them warm, freeing, not meant to wound. Zurich blinked. There was nothing to say. Too late to fix what was broken. Too late to chase what had flown away. Vanessa didn't wait. Darius appeared beside her, hand resting gently at her back, steady, sure, a home in human form. They walked away together, steps in rhythm, energy unbothered, a love that didn't need announcing, a unity spoken in silence. Zurich watched them fade into the glow of the garden lights, feeling something sink deeper than heartbreak, the sting of lost grace, lost depth, a future he'd never built with a woman who could have been his empire. He sat alone, watching Vanessa rise beyond what he ever believed she could be without him. And that's the hardest part. So what do you think, huh? Was Zurich right to leave? Or did he just throw away something rare because he couldn't see its value? Drop your thoughts below. What's justice in a story like this? Share if you've ever seen someone rise while the person who left them falls behind. I'm curious how you'd call this one.